All right. Looks like we are connected and ready to go, y'all. So listen, I want to take this opportunity to thank every one of you that are here on the Zoom tonight, but then also those of you that are joining us live on ColumbusBlack.com's Facebook and our YouTube page, okay? This is a very special discussion tonight. Y'all know normally I have my Columbus Black t-shirt on. I don't have it on today because I'm trying to get ready for next week. It's a very, very special week. So tonight, right, we're going to be talking about Black Girl Dad Week and the Black Father-Daughter Dance, y'all. It's about to go down in Columbus, Ohio, and we're just excited to be here and to be a part of it. So let's go back for a second. My name is Kevin Lloyd. I am the founder and CEO of ColumbusBlack.com, and I'm also the co-founder of MILE, which stands for Make Your Life Entertaining. That is how you can find things to do, places to go, and food to eat, all on one platform. And you can also buy tickets, sell tickets, post your events, and promote your events all in one place. It wouldn't be right if I didn't drop a shameless plug in there, but just remember, when you're looking for things to do, places to go, and food to eat, just mile it, all right? So tonight, right, I have an amazing lineup of community leaders that do all kinds of amazing things in our city. And we're going to be talking to them in a moment about these two major events that are going to be happening. One is a part of the overall week, okay? You're going to be graced with some of these amazing leaders. And what we're going to do right now is I'm going to kick it off, and we're going to actually start with Carla Williams Scott, okay? So Carla is with the Department of Neighborhoods for the City of Columbus. She's out here doing all kind of great things to take care of our community, y'all. So with that, I want her to introduce herself. And when we go through each one of these, I want each of you to also share why is Black Girl Dad Week so important, right? Like, why do you think this is important that we should be doing this? We want to hear from you as we go around the room. So Carla, we're going to turn it over to you to get us started.
Thank you, Kevin, and good evening, everyone. And thank you to all the panelists that are here with me. Again, I'm Carla Williams Scott, Director of the City of Columbus Department of Neighborhoods. And I'll share why Black Girl Dad Week is important to me. Number one, I'm a Black girl, and I was a daddy's girl. I'm a little older now, but when I was younger and when my dad was alive, I was a daddy's girl. But I will say that I just think it's important that young women, in particular young Black women, have a strong male role model in their life. This is Black Girl Dad Week, but it could be any other strong male role model if it's not their dad. But having that strong male role model in their life helps them down the road to make decisions. I always tell people my dad was the first man that showed me how a woman is supposed to be treated. And I think all young girls should have the opportunity to experience that from someone who cares about them and loves them unconditionally.
That sounds like a proud daughter dropping some serious knowledge and some gems. She's feeling it, y'all. And we love it, right? So thank you so much. Yep, she's dropping those gems, right, Sherry? So one of the things I realized, even though we're live, we were not recording it. So I'm gonna hit this recording button. It was paused. So we're gonna make sure we're recording, even though this is all officially available for everyone to see, okay? So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and move on and through almost an agenda style, right? So each day of the week, there's something going on. So I think it's appropriate to actually go by day right now. So we're going to actually turn it over. So on Monday, we have Lyric Williams with us, right? So and now Lyric actually comes to us, and many of you are familiar because there's so many thousands of people on the platform, but he's the admin of the Columbus Black-owned business group, right? So one of the admins, and he's been holding it down for years now. He's also the founder of Lumen U, a technology solutions by for a cause, which is a social enterprise, and the producer and co-host of the 15 Minutes with Dad podcast with his teenage daughter. So how appropriate for him to be here as we're talking about Black Girl Dad Week. So Lyric, we're gonna turn it over to you and let you share with us why this is so important to you.
First thing is I'm a father. So it's very important, especially being a single dad for most of my daughter's life. She's a teenager, so we have this very special relationship and dialogue that we already have normally. And we started our podcast, 15 Minutes with Dad, with it. And so it kind of just falls into the wheelhouse of what I do in life. And on Monday, I'll be hosting a Black Girl Dads entrepreneur panel, which is basically taking Black girl dads who are entrepreneurs and having a conversation about how their ambition toward their entrepreneurship impacts their daughter's future self or future growth or future ambition. And that's going to be awesome. That's taking place at Cohatch Gateway. It's going to be on Monday at 6 o'clock till 7:45. Just get there. It's going to be live. I have Perry Jeffries. I have Sean Smith. I have who else do I have? I have Frugal Freddy. I don't know if you all had a Frugal Freddy. So I have some really good entrepreneurs on the panel. It's going to be a very awesome conversation. And most importantly, I believe that bond between a father and a daughter is vital to healing the future family structures in our community in terms of hereditary trauma. And we need to be present and value-added quality of men to our daughters so that they can seek that presence in their future partners as they grow of age.
Wow. Powerful. Speaking from a father, right? Yeah. We love it, man. We appreciate that. And as an entrepreneur myself, and having a daughter who's an entrepreneur, actually both my daughters have pursued entrepreneurial lanes. That means a lot. And I can't wait to listen to the podcast. So excited to have you. And now we know exactly why. So listen, we have stuff. That's Monday. On Tuesday, we have more going on, right? So on Tuesday, our guest is supposed to be on, is not here today with us, but I want to turn it over to Jewel and see if you want to give us any high-level tidbits. We don't want to put you on the spot, but if there's anything you want to mention that they can expect on Tuesday, would you like to share something?
First of all, thank you very, very much. But we do have still another Monday person. So I'm actually going to ask, yeah, that's fine. And John Pace was kind enough to join us because John actually is going to talk about the vision for this entrepreneurial track and the importance of men supporting, particularly Black fathers supporting their daughters, and some of the work he's going to be doing next year in the partnership. So John, I'm going to actually go ahead and allow you to talk also about that Monday and what that Monday means for you.
And John, before you go, let me share this, right? So I don't know how I skipped over John, especially as much as we do together, but John, so that everybody knows, is the president and CEO of the Classic for Columbus. So if y'all enjoyed the football game a little over a year ago, if y'all enjoyed the basketball game last year and the one that's coming up this April, that's John Pace. So John, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Thank you. Well, I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my brother, Jewel Woods. And it's Black Girl Dad Week. And so Jewel and I actually met almost 20 years ago in Cleveland, Ohio, through our daughters. And so we shared daughter care. And then we reconnected here in Columbus when our daughters were both going to the same school, CSG, Columbus School for Girls. So my brother has always been about Black men, and he has always been about fatherhood. And he does not just talk the talk, he walks the walk, and I'm a testimony to that. So kudos to you, Brother Woods, and thank you for having me. Why is Black Girl Dad Week important? I think it's important for two reasons, a number of reasons, but two stick out to me. Number one, a man can't be really whole if he's a father unless he has a relationship with his daughter. So a man who has a daughter without a relationship with that daughter is not complete. So in order for us to be complete as men, we have to learn how to be good fathers. And then secondly, for our daughters, the daughters are the seed from which life comes. And if that seed is not fully mature, fully developed, then the seed that comes off of that seed will not be fully developed. And I think that the only way a female can be fully developed is by that early nurturing during the developmental years, being nurtured and loved and supported and just being at one with her father. So I think those are the two reasons I would point to.
Wow. So y'all don't know, I didn't tell everybody something I do anytime I do some type of show when I'm hosting, I start doing this, right? And what that is, that's when gems are dropped. And he's dropping some serious heavy gems over there. Y'all felt some passion earlier, right, from Colin, and Lyric came right behind it. Now, John, come on, right? So they just setting it up for everybody coming behind them. So get ready because gems are being dropped. And it's based off of each person's individual feeling about why this week is so important. And it's getting heavier and heavier. I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. So thank you, John. We appreciate that.
And I want to interject just real quickly. So John, I can't thank you enough for that, but also want you to just talk a little bit also about your vision, particularly as it relates to the entrepreneurship. So just take 2 seconds and say what you think the future holds for creating space for having men support their daughters in this lane when it comes to jobs and careers.
Yes. So I've spent most of my life in sports and entertainment. And as we look to both the immediate future and the strategic future, men, some of us we have daughters who play sports. Sports are really big now with females and with girls. But I think the next step is for us to start developing our daughters, at least giving them that alternative to start thinking about being in the front office of a professional sports franchise or being an entrepreneur. Designing shoes, working in that NIL space. And so I'm honored to be working with Brother Woods. And what we're going to start doing is creating a pathway educationally for fathers to help their daughters early on, right? Fathers to help their daughters early on start thinking about careers and entrepreneurship as it relates to sports and entertainment and hospitality.
Outstanding. Jewel, I think you were trying to say something, but
no, just excellent. That's all. Go ahead,
excellent.
Brother Kevin.
Thank you very much. So on the Tuesday piece, did you want to jump in on anything, Jewel, high level for Tuesday?
No, this is where, again, so, Brother Carter, in order, and the judge will very much talk about that day because it's very much in their lane. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna move right on into Wednesday. So we actually have Carter Womack with us, right? So Carter is the founder and CEO of Leadership at Its Best. So Carter, we're gonna come to you next and let you share your answer on the same question. Why is Black Girl Dad Week so important to you?
Kevin, before I start, you requested that if Stephanie Hightower joined, you'll bring her in. She has joined us.
She is here. We need to make sure that she is a co-host so that she has the ability to unmute. So I want to make sure she's good to go there. So I'm doing that right now. And then she should be able to unmute and we should be able to hear from her. So Carter, thank you for the heads up of letting me know. And President, or as we call Madam Hightower, would you like to share some words with us and help us understand why this is so important and why you wanted to make sure that the Columbus Urban League and through your leadership was a part of this monumental Black Girl Dad Week?
Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you, fathers, and thank you, Carter, for letting everyone know that I'm here. First, let me say this. We had, and I need to say this, we had the opening, and I don't know if you already did this, we had the opening of the first Black steakhouse restaurant in Columbus, Ohio tonight. Their ribbon cutting was tonight. So I really apologize for being late, but it was one of those situations where I couldn't get out. Now you got out, I couldn't get out fast enough. So I apologize for not being on time for this call, because I really do appreciate what is going on here and the importance of it. I want to say this, and I'm just going to let the men finish this podcast and really take this and take the lead on this because I think it's important. I grew up in a 2-parent household. My father was in the military. He and my mother were married for 63 years. They both passed 2.5 years ago, 2 weeks apart. My dad was the center of my world. He made sure that everything that I did in sports and in life, he was a part of it. And so I am a strong proponent for making sure that girls have their fathers in their lives, and I understand the importance of it. And he was my heart, and I was his, and I missed, and I still today, and I'm old. I say my daddy every day. I miss my daddy every day. And so I think it's important to have, the reason why we're doing this is I'm being a part of this movement, because this is a movement, Jewel, that we need to make sure that our fathers and our daughters are connected, that parenting is important. But let me just say this. We know that there are statistics that show that Black men are intimately engaged in their children's lives.
That's right.
And there are statistics that show that already. All you're doing with this program today is really underscoring what we already know as far as what Black men are doing, what Black families are doing. Now, they may not be the stereotypical household that most people think you should have, but Black men are doing their things. They are engaged with their children. And then we have another host of men who are mentoring and being a part of our young men and women's lives. And so this is such a great program that's really awesome. I wish that when my dad was around that we had a father-daughter dance that we could have gone to, but I'm gonna dance with him anyway in prayer, and I'm gonna dance with him that weekend that we have this. But I just want to say to all of the Black men who are on this call, who will be bringing their daughters, to Carter, to Jewel, thank you for the work that you're doing. To John, everybody that's doing this work with us. We are proud to be a sponsor of this event and the week's events. And it's important that we remind Black men, we don't need y'all to be nobody else to validate what you already doing. Y'all doing what y'all supposed to be doing. We don't need nobody to validate that. Just thank you for continuing to stand up and be there for your children. And especially for Black women, we need to have our daddies. We need to have them engaged in our lives. We need to make sure that when that boy comes to the door to take us on that first date, that our daddy is standing there, right? Let him know that your daddy is here that's going to be taking care of this if you don't take care of it. So thank you to my brothers for just underscoring, reiterating, and really, what I had the privilege of experiencing and making sure that we have other young girls also have this wonderful experience with their dads that I know is just so important. I wouldn't be the person that I am today without the love and support of my father, James Hightower. So thank you guys. And I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to listen, but y'all take this away because this is about manpower. This is about Black male power. And just know that I'm a recipient of that. And I want to keep receiving that tonight. So thank you.
Exceptional. If y'all know that's a mic drop right there, right? That was literally it. Now we obviously have to keep going, but that was a bunch of mic drops happening there, and y'all could feel it.
Absolutely.
Wow. Now this is Jill. Just real quick, right? We got to keep going, but this reminds me of why the demand has been so high, right? So many people have been trying to get into or trying to get the tickets to get to this event. And the number of wives that have reached out and said, I'm trying to get this ticket for my daughter and her father, right? Or my husband and her daughter, right? So that's it, right? That experience, enough said. So, Joe, do you have something else before we go to Carter?
Well, yeah, because I just, I'm not smart enough to recognize the reason why you was throwing it to me, because Tuesday does come before Wednesday. And so let me just mention real quickly, Tuesday is a focus on education. It's Take Your Daughter to School Day. It just so happens that our two main presenters for that day, brilliant principal Shannon Tucker over at Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls, actually is recovering from surgery. So she said she wasn't feeling up to it. And I just got a message from Principal Ty Tucker, Ty Cornett over at Columbus City Preparatory School for Boys, and he's just now coming out and might be joining us late. So I just wanted to say that day, that Tuesday, is designed to, as President Hightower said, to amplify what things that we're doing already. But for example, that day is a unique opportunity also to create space. I was surprised that there had not been an actual invitation for men to come together and talk about their unique opportunities and roles, and not just being supportive, but particularly their roles in supporting the academic, intellectual, and educational needs of their daughters and women. So that day is designed for that. We want guys to take pictures as they're taking their daughters to school. We want you to all show up at this event at Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls that night, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., designed precisely for fathers to talk about our roles to support the educational needs of Black women and Black girls. That's all I wanted to say. And now we can go to Wednesday and focus on politics as well. Thanks.
Outstanding, outstanding. Thank you for dropping that so everybody knows, right? Take your daughter to school day on Tuesday. So with that, Carter Womack, we are headed your way. As I mentioned earlier, you all, so Carter is joining us. He's the president and CEO of Leadership at its Best. So with that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to you so you can share why this is so important to you.
Good evening. This week is so important to me. And from the standpoint, I tell people, I'm the baby of 10, born in Greenville, Alabama. There were 6 girls and 4 boys. And God has taken some of my sisters away from me and brothers. But the abilities of men to be engaged in the lives of their daughters is very important, because I tell my nieces, and she tell them all the time, if a boy wants to approach you and about wanting to go out for a date and have a conversation with you, your first question is, what's your grade point average? If it's not an A or a B, you say, I'll see you later. So it's important that we as men get involved with our girls and our daughters to help them be the best that they can be. But we also want to talk about on Wednesday, the importance of Black men engaged in the political activities that will change legislation, make decisions that will impact this generation and the next generation. So we're so honored that as a part of our panel on Wednesday, we're going to have Mayor Stephanie Rawlins Blake, former mayor of Baltimore, leading this conversation. And we will be talking about the importance of how Black men can get involved in this conversation during Black Girls Dad Week to talk about that activity. So as a part of what we do with Leadership at its Best in Bold, we have a program for Black boys called BOLD. And BOLD stands for Black-Male Orientation and Leadership Development. And we work with boys from grade 6 through 12 and on to college. So we will be bringing 16 boys, 2 tables to the event on Saturday so that they can see what it will take for them when they grow up to be fathers, to be present, and to see other men engaging and loving on their daughters, and now being able to be role models and peer educators for the next generation of boys and young men that will come after them. So we're excited about Wednesday, pass the word, because we're going to be talking about voting as a part of our flag organization that we started. The Black Male Voting Collective is an organization that we launched this year to get Black men involved in supporting Black women when it comes to making decisions about your body, your choice. So we're going to continue that conversation on Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carter. Breaking it down, right?
And I am Phi Beta Sigma, so I wear it all the time because we got the Sigmas involved at all levels. So
that's
throw that out to Kevin.
He had to throw that out there. As a proud member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, I love the whole D9 family. We're gonna show some love, all right? Thank you, Carter. So thank you for sharing and dropping that. And then Wednesday continues, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a judge on the line. I want to make sure y'all understand that, right? So we're blessed with Judge Lachelle Stroud with the Franklin County Court of Common Pleas, Domestic Relations and Juvenile Branch. So would you please share with us why this week is so important to you?
Well, thank you, everyone. I am so excited to be here on this evening and looking forward to Black Girl Dad Week. I can personally and professionally attest to the importance of having an active father in my life. I, too, am a daddy's girl. My father and my mother divorced when I was 9 years old, but my father was committed to remaining an active part of my life. And I know that he nurtured and developed me into the leader that I am on today. When I was younger, I've wanted to be a lawyer since I was 5 years old. And there were many people who told me that I could not or should not be a lawyer. And I remember my father showing up even after I wrote a letter to one of my teachers to say that I would be a lawyer and sue him for the things that he was doing and his unfair practices in our classroom. And when he wanted to punish me, it was my father who came to the school and said my daughter did not do anything wrong. And so I know that having a father who is vocal and present has a great impact on a young girl's life. And I am just so grateful to still have my father in my life through campaigning and just helping me to get to the place where I am is vital and invaluable. So on a professional level, we know that the studies have shown that when a father is active in his children's life, that they are less likely to engage in negative behaviors in school, more likely to be engaged in school, and less likely to engage in negative behaviors in the community. And we see in juvenile court, unfortunately, the impact when there is that void of not having a father in a child's life, what that can do, which is why we heavily rely on the programs and the mentorships of other father figures who say that we will step in and bridge that gap when there is a need within our community. We know that close to 80% of the families that we serve in domestic relations and juvenile court are Black families. And on any given day in our Juvenile Intervention Center, formerly known as the Detention Center, it's over 90% African-American males. So we know the impact of having Black fathers and Black father figures, how that can change the trajectory of a child's life to have someone step in and support. So we are excited at the court to have this week and looking forward to being a part of it and continuing to celebrate the impact of Black fathers and father figures in our children's lives.
So powerful, y'all. So powerful. Y'all seeing how the week is coming together. Just Stroud, thank you for dropping that the way that you did, right? Y'all see the way the week is coming together, though, right? And we're touching on so many different areas, but hearing your personal stories, I think everybody can relate to that. So I see hands clapping and everything, right? Phenomenal. So listen, something that came up, there was a question in the chat, and we'll drop the link as well on the Facebook and YouTube page. But if you're still looking for tickets, we did sell out, but then we're able to open up some more space. So Jewel worked really hard at that and figured it out. And if you need tickets, there are a very limited number available. So the link is available. Make sure you get your tickets today because they may not be available tomorrow, right? Especially after this is going live tonight. So with that, let's go ahead and move on to Thursday. And on Thursday, we have Jasper Person with us. And Jasper is the founder of Tailored Fit and co-founder of Dewey Services. So Jasper Person, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to you. Why is this so important?
Great day, everybody. Hopefully everybody can hear me well. Excited about being here and kind of sharing the reason why Black Girl Dad Week is important. We think about the impact of our communities. We hear the data and the statistics and things that we can consistently see within our community, working with our young people, the absence of a father and the impact that it has, not just on the household, but on our communities as a whole. And so one of the things that we know is extremely important is bringing community together to discuss and have conversation of the impact of fathers not being present. We know there's a lot of obstacles, opposition, and even certain systems that are in place that a lot of times keep, specifically our Black fathers out of the lives of their children, their daughters specifically, as we talk about Black Girl Dad Week. But it's extremely important to bring community together to talk about and identify solutions to that. How can we support each other and identify solutions within this space, within our community, so that we can learn from each other, lean on the things that we've learned in our own experiences. One of the beautiful things about being in this space is hearing everybody's story concerning their fathers and how, it's been impactful to them and their community and their friends or their upbringing or whatever it may be. But a lot of times we have people in our community who've never heard those stories. We have people in our communities who don't understand what it looks like or ever heard and had conversation of the importance of having healthy relationships from fathers to daughters and from fathers to mothers. Obviously, we know that I think the quote says that, for a son, a father is their first hero, but for a daughter, it's their first love, right? And so being able to glean from whether it's mistakes that we've made as fathers, right? Mistakes that we've made as mothers, mistakes that are set up in the system to create some of these barriers and issues. As a community, having that conversation, talking about the solutions, and gleaning towards a healthy track and a healthy way, and then identifying individuals who are already in our community who have figured it out, right, to help guide us, and allow those solutions to not be something that is theory, but to be able to look at the lives and even touch people who have applied those solutions to their lives, their relationships with their daughters, their relationships with their mothers, relationships with significant others across the board. And so being in a space where community can have that conversation, and having individuals who are specialists in the space like Brother Tony Porter and obviously our beloved Bishop Timothy J. Clark, who will also be in the space along with other brothers and people from the community, to speak on the importance as a community seeing healthy relationships and becoming healthy in our relationships is extremely important.
Outstanding. Thank you, Jaspers. I call him JP, but JP, do me a favor. Would you go back to Thursday? You mentioned, so what is happening on the 16th? As you mentioned, Brother Porter and Bishop Clark.
So yes, there is the community conversation and event that is taking place at the Fawcett Center at OSU, right? Calling all men specifically, but just community as a whole to be a part of this conversation that is vital to us right now where we are, right? Brother Tony Porter and Bishop Clark and other people from within the community will have a discussion around healthy relationships, what it looks like to have healthy masculinity in our communities. It's a piece that sometimes, a lot of times, is not covered. It's not focused on. We don't get it in our schools. We don't get it, a part of a lot of our systems. But being able to create a space where individuals are living this, are able to share that, and then communicate, like I said, the solutions across the board. Also hearing from the community some of the issues and things that we're trying to figure out. And then obviously coming back to the table, working together to hear from the community, but also hear from those who've identified those solutions is going to be key.
Outstanding. Thank you for sharing that. And I think that's a great segue into Jewel, in case either wants to add to that or take us into Friday, because we're getting closer to the end of the week, right? So Friday and Saturday, we're going to bring those two together with Jewel.
Sure. No, thank you. And I'll try to do both. And I just want to perhaps even categorize it by saying one of the ways in which I would really want people to understand is that we have these amazing events. Some are actual virtual and some are actually in person. And the event that Jasper was just talking about, like what we're going to talk about on Saturday, is one of the signature events that we're going to have in person. So we really want to encourage everybody to come to the Fawcett Center that Thursday night from 7 to 9 p.m. It is going to be an extremely, extremely important conversation about the role of masculinities as it relates to some of these things, because, and I can talk about the clinical side, but you don't have ideas about being a father separate from ideas about being a man. And men are boys before they're men. And so we're not really having some conversations about what are these sort of ideas about masculinity and manhood that sometimes end up determining how we parent, determining how we actually give or don't receive emotionality, then perhaps we're actually not doing the work. And that's actually precisely why Friday I'm perhaps the most excited about. So what I would say is that all this stuff sounds so good. And when we were planning this, it started to feel like this was going to be this amazing, transformative week, and it is. But the brilliant women on the panel one day, pointed out, they said, you know what? Not all relationships are solid. In fact, there's some fractured relationships between not just men and women, but between men and their daughters. And we actually need to talk about healing and reconciliation. And we felt like that was, you talk about a mic drop. And as a clinician, for example, it was my moment of pause because, again, sometimes Black folks, we're so faced with the negative stuff that we get caught up in the politics of respectability. We only want to show the positive side. And the reality is, obviously, as a clinician, that's the space that I'm in. And so once we named Black Healing and Reconciliation Day, we were very intentional about trying to figure out the best way to really solidify that. And I cannot tell people, and Kevin and all these other folks know, that the author of a book called Heavy, that this book, Heavy, to my knowledge, is the most important, beautiful, and haunting piece of art that's ever been written. I think the brother writes better than Baldwin, Richard Wright, Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison combined, but that's just my personal thing. But the reality is he deals with issues around Black parenting, Black trauma, Black addiction, and things that allow us to actually talk, address and heal as a community, because all of us as parents ask for God's grace. We all, for example, fail miserably, but also, right? And so really having that conversation on that Friday about healing and reconciliation is going to be special. The last thing I'll say about that Friday is we're also going to launch on Monday that day is going to be anchored by a call for all men to write a letter to your children, specifically to your daughters. We're going to ask fathers to actually write a letter. Hopefully you'll give it to your child, but even if it's just to yourself, because clinically we know that something about writing not only captures the mind and imagination, it impacts the memory. And so what we want, and we're going to use Papa Was a Rolling Stone as our sort of anchor for that, right? We're going to have, I want y'all to be playing it, but this is an opportunity for us to have some idea of thinking about historically, what were these images about fractured relationships? What are the fathers we want to be, not just the fathers that we were? So this is an opportunity. So that Friday, Healing Reconciliation, I'm super excited. And what can I say about Saturday? It was more than just a dream to think that not only will we sell out 300, not only did we sell out for 500, but then at 500, we'd have close to 300 people on the waiting list. And so we're just so thankful, to the Columbus Urban League, all these brilliant panelists who put in the work, who's just simply saying something that we already know, that there's a great, profound need to amplify and highlight what we're already doing, but it's so needed in this culture that just sees us in so many different and negative ways. And all this is simply saying is, again, I'll be brief, Black women are Black girls first. And there's not a girl, particularly a Black girl, that doesn't want to have everything that Carter talked about, everything that John talked about, everything that Sister Stroud talked about, everything that, my goodness, Madam President Hightower talked about. So this is simply gives us the space to create memories and experiences that'll last a lifetime. That's what Saturday is about. And I'll, turn it over for Sunday. But just thank you all. But Friday and Saturday, to my knowledge, are just signature days for Black Girl Dad Week. And so looking forward to it. Thank you, Kevin.
Absolutely. Outstanding. And something to look forward to, y'all. So the tickets, as he just mentioned, they were flying, right? And he figured it out. There's a few more left. As I said, I dropped the link now on Facebook, on YouTube, obviously on the Zoom chat. So get your tickets now, just a few left. So get them while you can. And outstanding job to Jewel for all that you're doing. And you just mentioned all of the stories that were shared. And we appreciate all of that. Now let's move into the final day. So Sunday, right? So we're going to actually turn it over. So Sherry Hamilton is on the line with us today. She's the president and CEO of the Ohio Black Expo, which is coming up Memorial Day weekend right here, y'all. We're about to take over the state in Central Ohio with the Ohio Black Expo. So I'm going to turn it over to Sherry Hamilton to share why this is so important to her.
Thanks, Kevin. I'm so glad to lend my voice to this conversation, this important topic. Again, as a Black woman, I was a Black girl. I am and forever will be a daddy's girl, even though my father has now transitioned. But Jewel and I started talking about this last year, thanks to you, Kevin. And, the mission of the Ohio Black Expo is to improve quality of life for Black people in Ohio. That's a beautiful, broad umbrella to do a lot of work, and healing the Black family is at the core of a lot of this, right? And, so this conversation about Black daughters and Black fathers is so important. My father, when I was a little girl, every grading period, when I did well and was on honor roll, which I better be or else, I lived in one of those households. But every grading period, one of the things I had to look forward to is that my father would take me on a date. And, I can remember spending all week trying to figure out what I was going to wear, and sometimes begging mommy, please, I know it's not Easter yet, but I need a new dress. I'm getting ready for my date with daddy, this weekend. So, and that's time where, being in a setting like the father-daughter dance, like maybe if some fathers can start to consider things like that, that time away from home, away from the family setting is a bonding time. You know, you may bond at home playing together and doing different things together, but there's something special about going out with your father that does create those lifetime memories that you never forget. Some of those dates I had with my dad, I remember what I wore. I remember where we went, even though I was little and I couldn't tell you what side of town it was on, but those are lifetime type memories, and strengthening that bond is so important. It creates that safety net that we get as Black women who did have that strong relationship with our fathers, that even into my adulthood and even with my dad in heaven now, I know that he has my back. No matter where I go, I don't have to worry about it. So that's so important for Black women, and that, you know, children learn what they live. So those things trickle down to the next generation, right? That strength that we have, that empowerment we have as women, we pass that down to our sons and our daughters that we raise, and that goes on for generations. So for fathers that are out there listening and you're trying to figure out, how do I heal the relationship with my daughter, whether it's a childhood relationship or now an adult relationship, it's still important. It's never too late. Get involved with your daughter, bring your daughter to this dance, and participate during this week to heal that relationship, all of those things that need to be done. And we're going to finalize the week. Ohio Black Expo's part in this was to help foster, you know, as part of that healing the Black family, a Black love date night. So we want all of the fathers, after you spent the week focusing on your daughter, we want you to pivot on Sunday. Now, no matter what your budget is, if you blew your budget on the dance and you don't have much left, then you make that date night at home. You can do that, you know, Netflix and chill, whatever you have to do. You know, spend that time with your mate or your spouse and strengthen that relationship, because that household that you have your daughter in needs to be healthy as well. So we want you to focus on Black Love Date Night, and it's a 3-step process. Step 1, we want you to write a love letter to your mate and remind yourself of why you fell in love with them in the first place. We live in this digital age and we will text each other and, you know, all these things, but there's still something special and cathartic, as Jewel mentioned, about writing a letter. So we want you to take the time to write a letter to your spouse. Step 2, we want you to plan that date night. So again, whether it's at home or you find a wonderful Black restaurant to go to, we want you to take the time to plan that date night. And step 3, of course, go out and enjoy that date. So start your week thinking about Black love, thinking about Black love all week long with your daughters, and then finalize that week with your Black love date night. And we're just so happy that this work is being done. Again, as a Black girl, a daddy's girl, this is critically important, and it definitely needs to continue. So just like we have Black History 365, we need to have these things going on 365.
Outstanding job. Thank you so much, Sherry, for breaking that down. Some serious testimonials, and I was so into it, I forgot to do my gem drops, even though she was dropping gems all along the way. So here's the coolest part. For all the dads out there, right? And clearly I'm a proud father of 2 beautiful, amazing daughters, right? Is that if you ever wanted some tips and tricks, right? They gave you all the answers to the test, right? So if you listen to the ladies that are the grown women that are on this line, and talk about the relationship with their dads, right? So important. And I love all of the tips. And it just like re-inspires me to make sure I keep doing the things I need to and try a few different things as well. So that Sunday, that was also a great segue. So Stephanie Hightower was on earlier, right? And she shared something that happened today, which was the ribbon cutting for Cut 132. So in addition to the gems that have been dropped already, I want to help all of the men out. If you take your significant other or your special person in your life or your daughter to Cut 132, I promise you, you're going to get all the brownie points you need. Beautiful establishment, Black-owned establishment, top-notch, and right at Eastern Town Center. So make sure you go and check it out. It's across the street from RH, right? Restoration Hardware. So I had to drop that plug in there so we keep that piece going. Warren Thompson is the owner and has done some amazing things around the country. And this is just the beginning. So I wanted to share that because I felt like it was appropriate because of the segue that was dropped. So with that being said, Jewel, we have gone through every single day of Black Girl Dad Week. We have heard personal stories and testimonials and got some tips and tricks. So I'm gonna bring it back to you for anything you want to share to wrap up on behalf of the week. You've been the man behind the scene doing all this work to bring this to our city, to bring this to our residents, to bring this to our fathers and our daughters. So I'll turn it back to you.
No, I can't thank everybody enough. I'll be brief. First and foremost, we want everybody to share. Everybody that's here, and even just this last day, Sunday, take pictures, again, put it on your own social media, send it to us, send it to, all these sort of partners. This is about capturing, archiving all the things that we want to make sure that our generations have. Again, too much of our story is told by other people. And so we want to make sure that we're actually sharing. So whether it be on Monday, Tuesday, whether it be on Sunday, take pictures, send them out, let folks know that you're actually celebrating in this specific way. Again, just a particular sort of shout out to all the community partners. This would not have happened without you. The reality is this is not just about male behavioral health. I am not the fatherhood guy. I'm not the business guy, not even the education guy. We are focused on community mental health. And my opportunity in creating Black Girl Dad Week was to simply, provide opportunities for people to shine in their own lane. I cannot thank, what should I say about Kevin Lloyd and Columbus Black and Mile. We have a fundamental opportunity, especially in this space, to really elevate the importance of Black independent media. And the reality is this could not be done if we were relying on other folks. And so we want to support you, brother. We, Male Behavioral Health, Dewey, Center for Men and Boys is 100% behind you, and feel like we couldn't even have this community-based initiative without your support. So thank you so much, and please know that you're valued. The last thing is, while we have actually sold this out and have done things, in particular in terms of attendance, none of this is free. And so if everybody that's listening, our partners here, please, let folks know that there's a donate button and it's not there just for looks. The reality is that we would very much benefit from some financial support. The reality is to make this type of event the type of memorable, high-class week that it can be, we need financial support. So it only will get better moving forward. So I ask finally for people's grace in advance. Things are not going to be perfect, right? Folks are not going to get everything that they want, but this is just the beginning. We will get more efficient, more everything, moving forward, this looks brighter. And so I'm just super excited, and I'm so grateful for y'all brilliant, this Black excellence that's here. My goodness. Congratulations. Thank you for your example. You motivate me, you humble me, and you make me want to do more. So thank you so much. And my son is taking me to New York City to give me a break for Friday through Sunday, just to, so I'm gonna be like offline just for everything that's gonna happen next week. But thank you all so much.
Outstanding. Thank you, Jewel, for the wrap up. And with that being said, y'all, that is it. We said we were gonna be done right around 7:45. We're only a few minutes over, so not too bad. What I want to do is before we wrap, I do want to see, hold on one second, let's do this again. So I do want to check to see if President Hightower has anything else that she would like to share before we wrap. If not, no pressure on you, but I'm just checking.
Y'all did that thing. All I just, Judge Shroud, she put it in perspective. All of y'all did that thing. I don't need to say nothing else. I'm so excited that it's sold out. I'm so excited that the Columbus Urban League has an opportunity to be a part of this. I just thank you to Brother Jewel for reaching out and letting us be. Kevin, you are the marketeer of the century here, and we're just going to have a wonderful opportunity to celebrate Carter and everybody else, our fathers and our daughters, and I thank you so much. My dad was at every track meet, every whatever I had, and this is what this is all about and the importance of it. So thank you for elevating this conversation in our community. and letting Black men know that y'all do that thing, and we appreciate you and we love you for that. So anyway, y'all have a good evening.
All right. Hey, that was it, y'all. With that, we're wrapping it on up. Remember, you can find all this stuff on columbusblack.com. Go to the website, join our mailing list, and you'll receive emails so you never miss out on a powerful, impactful conversation like this ever again. And you don't miss out on great events like this as well. Make sure you download the Mile app, MYLE, Mile Events in your app store. And with that being said, we're going to wrap up as we always do. In order to be more successful in your future, you got to realize and understand more about your past. And that's the reason why we just had this amazing discussion. And guess what? Next week, we're going to have a blast. And on that note, I'm out. Have a good one, everybody. Take care.
All right, take care.